Hello everyone, this is Tyler here. I'm just going to do a tutorial of Useless for the guitar. I'll cover all the rhythms and the solo too. And to follow along, there's going to be the tab in the description. It's Songster. You have the drums, bass, both guitars, harmonies, all that. And I'll be referencing that along the way to guide you, so I'd recommend having that up too. So this is the intro riff. It'll just start with a 4 count. And it's going to be like this. I'll play it first, and I'll go it slow and tell you about it. So it's... Let me start again. So that's the intro riff. It's like 155 BPM, and it just literally goes up the E minor scale, some slides in there, pretty simple. And then every time I come back, I do this little chug right before I hit the chord, right there, at the beginning. And I'll do it slow too. So you hear all those chucks every time you hear it's like a little palm muted. So that's that. There's also a little rest there. It's all on the tab, but that's how you play the intro riff. Probably the easiest of the song. And you play that 3 times, but the 4th time is slightly different. It does this. And then it'll fade out, and it'll be rhythm guitar. Just this chord, the G chord, then 5 and 2, and then just the E power chord. And there's going to be like a slight tempo slowdown there. Alright, so this next part is just rhythm guitar as like a build up on like the left ear or whatever. And it's just going to be 3 and 5. And it's going to be... simple as that. This 3 times. And then the whole riff's repeated 4 times. And here's the actual speed. And it's basically a gallop there which is 2 16 notes and an eighth, like a horse gallop. That you should probably know what a gallop is. And then on the 4th repeat, when all the guitars and the bass comes in, instead of going 2-0 with the open note, it's going to be a power chord. And that's when the lead guitar comes in. And then it's a heavier version of the same riff, which instead of using open notes, it's going to be a power chord, and it's a little lower. It's going to be a palm muted 0, and then just the G power chord, which is 3 and 5. And then the same as usual. So instead of doing this, it's this. So that'll repeat another 4 times, and then you'll get this little tempo slowdown and this very weird kind of headbanging riff, which has a hammer on. It's technically a reverse gallop rhythm, but you're not really galloping with your pick at all. So it's this little chug on the 0, hit the 3, and then quickly hammer with the 5. So the 3 is not being hammered itself, it's just chug a 0, hit 3, and then hammer on it. And then the last thing is after you hit the 5, like mute it again, like basically hit the chug again. Once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. That's probably the most weird riff. Then it goes back to the main riff again, but still with the slower tempo of 105 because it's slowed down for the headbang riff. Although this time there's more palm mutes on the actual chord this time instead of just the 0. It's so the first 2 notes of the gallop are a chug now. I'm exaggerating the moves a little there. And then the last note, it does this. And then you wait, and then the verse starts up. And it's going to be first pretty simple, no fretting, just gallop, 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 down, down, gallop, 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 1, 2. That's the main rhythm right there. It's a palm muted, obviously. Starts with rhythm guitar, and then the second repeat, the lead guitar comes in, then the third, the drums come in, and the fourth, the drums come in. Thus, the bass comes in. That's just the build up. Once the actual verse starts, it'll do this 4 times. That's 1 repeat 4 times, and then it'll go up to here. 3, doing the exact same rhythm, and then 5. But instead of going the down picks, it's going to be 4 gallops in a row. So instead of going, it's like that. So, and so it's building up to a fake out, which is going to be this little run where it's gallop 7, 3, 2. Where you go, and then 2 heavy chugs on the 1, 3 power chord, or the F power chord, I guess. Like that. And all of this is palm muted, so I'll do the whole verse repeat basically. That's basically it, and then it starts over. And then that's like a fake out where it thinks you're going to go in the pre-chorus, but not. The actual pre-chorus, same build-up. But instead of palm muting up here, we're going to do the... But we're not going to palm mute, we're going to go... And then instead of ending it with the power chords, it's going to be just a 0 gallop. So... And then you're going to jump up to the 8, 3, 2. So 7, 3, 2, 8, 3, 2. So... So it's going to repeat that 4 times, well 2, 7 basically. And then that's it. And then we're going to go to this little chuggy part which kind of transitions to the chorus, which it's a pretty weird rhythm if you can't get it. Look at the tab, but it's only 1 note with power chords jumping out. The chords aren't palm muted and the zeros are, so it's this. I'll play it real slow. Let's see, it's even slower. There it is. It's not that hard once you get to know what it is, but it's like power chord, gallop, power chord, gallop, power chord, and then just 1 power chord, like that. That'll repeat 4 times, and it transitions nicely into the chorus, which the chorus starts as a, but then it goes somewhere else. It does this. So that's the chorus. Has that same rhythm there, but then it goes 3, 2, 2. And there is a little pause there. It doesn't go. It goes like that. You can see the rhythms on the tab. That's how it goes. I'm actually not sliding either. And then that transitions right into the headbang riff. And then back to the main riff, but the slow version. And then right back into the verse. Although this time the verse doesn't have as long of a build-up because we've already heard the build-up before with the drums and all that. So it starts right off. And it goes back in the chorus and all that. And then we're going to go into the harmony right after that. So the harmony is pretty simple on the rhythm guitar. It's 125 BPM. Okay, so the next riff is not the harmony, like I just said. It's the bridge. It's a little slower. It's about 120 BPM, and it cuts right in after the second chorus. Where so it's basically the chorus riff, but a little slower. No gallops. Instead, it's chugs, and there's gallops on the there. It said it's so it's a nice little time to make it a similar riff, but a creepier take on it. So I think it's a little easier to play. So it's open up with the E power chord, 3 muted chugs, gallop on the 3, and then just 2/8 notes, 2/0, and then 4 muted chugs, gallop there, and then up to speed. Alright, that's going to repeat like 8 times. It'll sound a little weird with just guitar, but with the drums and the bass it builds up, and the vocals make it a little more interesting. And then it cuts again after the, I think, 8th repeat. It goes, and it holds, starts doing power chords. Now we're into the harmony. So it's really easy in the rhythm guitar. They're all whole notes, so they hold the whole bar, and it jumps from 120 to 125 BPM. So it starts out in the E, and then G, and then up to 7 and 5, or 5/7, I mean, then 8 and 10, and then this bar changes up, and it's going to go like this. 4 like double chugs, kind of like you're reloading a gun, like a chick sound. And there is an extra guitar that just does this. Instead of going to the, it'll go, because there's like 5 guitars here, but the main rhythm guitar does that. It does, and then it kicks back into it again. But yeah, that's basically it. It's just a little slower than that. So it just literally goes those chords. So it's very similar to the intro riff chords because all the songs riffs tie in together. And if you wanted to play the other guitar part, it would be this. It would end on this chord instead of on the chugs. This chord is ringing the same time this is happening. You'll see that on the tab. It'll be like extra guitar. You'll see it on there. So that happens 4 times. The bass is doing a little something different. And then at the end, you, instead of going to the chugs, you'll go to the 7/5 or 5/7 here. And then it'll start climbing. Just chromatic. And then instead of going to the octave, it goes right back to the 0, because this note is also E, and so is 0. And I'll show how it goes, transitions from like the last repeat, so it's... So it does get a little faster too. It goes from whole notes to half notes, basically. And the tempo speeds up once this note is held. Now I'll show basically what the harmony is doing. The harmony guitar is, there's a lead guitar doing it, just a regular harmony guitar, and a harmony 2. And then the extra guitar also adds a little bit of fills in there, which just does at least one note. So the main harmony part is going to be this one. It's going to be up here on the high E and B string. So pretty simple, not that fast. Sounds a little odd on its own, but with multiple guitars it sounds more orchestral. And it does this 3/5 as a hammer on here, so it's. And all those held notes are vibrated, obviously, and it just goes to, it's climbing up the thing there. And it only uses those two strings, like 3 on the B string, then 2 on the E, then now we're on the B string again, then it ends on the E. And this note is ringing out when the guitars are doing this. And then I'll do that for a while. If you want to do the other harmonies, it's the exact same thing, but they're played at different registers. Like the middle harmony is going to be doing this. And there's like a lower one, which is doing this. But all that. And then the extra guitar only comes in on the 3rd and 4th repeats to make it even better, where it'll be doing this. On like those high notes there, but they're not ringing out the whole time. So now I'll cut into the solo section right here, which is pretty simple on the rhythm guitar too. So after that whole climb, and it's holding out on this note while the lead guitar is doing this run, and then it's just no guitar. The rhythm guitar just stops for one measure, and then it comes in with one of the pre-chorus riffs, which is this one. So that one, just the one note one, same tempo, 160 BPM, and it's going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 times instead of 4. And then it's going to transition to a riff only heard in the solo part, same type of riff, but modulates from E to F sharp here, which is just 5th, 2nd fret. Same relative rhythm, where it's just on the 2 the whole time. It has different endings now. So it does that, where it goes. Those little endings, which are a little slower. And that's like the final ending. It's 4 and 6 on the A and D strings. Yeah. And the other notes, it goes 2, 3, and then 3, 5. And the low note is the one I'm saying there. So that riff is played a couple times. Let me count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, same amount of times. And then the very final repeat of that riff, instead of just going, it'll do a gout. And then it'll just be a lead guitar again for like one measure. And then the final riff of the solo is very simple one, where it's a palm muted 0, and then a G power chord, which is 3 and 5. Pretty simple, just a day like that. And then you go down to the 2 and 4. Although it's a lot faster, it's like. And then that transitions, after doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like 6 times, it'll transition right back into the main riff, and the solo ends. So it's like this. With nice heavier drums this time around. And that's the end of the rhythm guitar for that part, so I'll cover the solo now. The solo basically starts off right where the lead guitar for the harmony left off, doing this. Instead of repeating it, it goes up to this more minor development, where, because normally it would stop the 5 there and then go back to, and here it stays, and then goes to 6. And that little run right there. That little mute is also important there to get the tension. So that's that little part. And then it starts going into actually like developing. It's just going to be this 5-3-0 run, which you could either do a legato where you pull off, or you just tremolo pick it, where it's 5-3-0. It's not horribly fast, so it shouldn't be too hard. And then it does that 3 times, and then the ending goes 5-3-6-5. Oh my god! Well, I can't play all of a sudden. There we go. And then it goes to the 6-3-0 instead of 5-3-0. So it does like this. And then on the end of the 6-3-0, you'll have a small half bend right there. And then the main solo starts. So I'll do a little intro. It starts on the 5 of the harmony, and then 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 3, 5, 6. And then the tempo finally increases back to the verse tempo of 160, and you get this little run with just the guitars holding the open E power chord below it, like this. So that's the run there. It's just basic pentatonic run using 3, 6, and 5. Then it ends on this harsh little bend, 3 and 5 bend. And when it's doing that bend, there's nothing but the lead guitar playing, and then the drums will come in on the hi-hat. You'll hear it in the tab. There's no point going over the notes of it because it's a lot of notes. So if you really want to learn it, the notes, you could just watch the tab. So after that, it'll do the exact same run, but this time it'll be 7, 10, and 9, up higher with more tension. And then it'll transition to something new, this little double bend thing. So it's a pretty simple bend. The solo starts off bluesy and gets heavier, basically. So yeah, it's just a simple whole step bend, back to the normal, and 7, 9, 9 bend, normal 9, and then the 7, 9, 7, a little tiny pause, and then both 7 and 7, like a perfect 4th power chord, like that. And then you go into this little bluesy section which follows the exact same rhythm as the rhythm guitar, you know, but instead we're going to be using that 7/7 power chord. So, and we're going to be using like muted chugs, doesn't matter what note. Like that, same exact rhythm. And then we're going to go back to the second half of that run that we're going to be doing this part. And then go back to the little chug thing. And then it'll end on these harsh power chords that we're doing, not power chords, harsh bends with the 3 and 5. But instead it'll be up here on the 7, and 2 of them. And that. Make sure that second one comes down, and then just a low 9 bend, which also comes down, and then 2 7s. So I'll play the whole part there. Yeah. And then on the tab it'll have like some weird slides. You don't have to do that, it just makes it sound more natural. But you just go up, there's a little pause, and then you go up to the tapping section when the rhythm changes from this to this. So the solo increases tension as well. And doing this little tapping motion where it's 13, 19, and 16 basically. 13 on this finger, 19 on the ring, and then, 16 on the ring, and then 19 on this middle finger, or your forefinger, whatever you want to use. And that, and then you'll be jumping up to 17 and 20. So basically the first finger is not moving, the ring on the left hand and the middle and the other are going back and forth like this, from 16 to 17, and from 19 to 20, like this motion. Pretty simple once you get it down, but unless you don't know tapping, but so you do that for about 4 repeats or 4 bars, I can't remember, and then it transitions a little hard. You jump up to tremolo picking now. It's going to start on 19, and it's 4 notes if you're really counting it out. So I'm just going to tell you what notes they are, but every one is 4 notes of a tremolo pick. It's 19, then 14, and then it's going to be easier now. So it's going to go 21, 20, 19, so those 3 notes right there. And then it's going to go back to 16, back to 19, and end on 17. So here's the whole tremolo run. And just tremolo pick it. So that ends after the 4 17s, this little bend where it goes. So it's basically 4 bends. The third one is slightly bigger than a full step, so it's full, like full and a quarter, and then full, release, 17, 15, 4. It's more of a feel, so it's like that, kind of like that. Then a little pause, and we're going to go to a similar run but lower down, where it follows, where it kind of sounds similar to that. So it's going to be down here in the D string, 7, 8, 9 chromatic, and then up to the G string, 6, 7, 9, 7. There's no vibrato there, and then a little pause, 8th note rest, and then you're going to be doing 9, 7, 7, going up each string from the D to the G to the B. And then you go back to the G with 7, a little palm mute. And we're going to start the next run, this little, you'll start on 8 on the B string, and then G, and it's palm muted twice, like this. And go to the 9, the same thing. So it's like 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12. Same thing, just the B and the G strings. And the bottom's palm muted. The last 12 though just goes just like that. And then you gotta do this really fast jump to the 24. You don't really have to, the 24 just somewhere high on the E string. Do this little slide down. That's when the drums and guitars all stop, just for that lead guitar run. So you do this. And then it begins the final run when the rhythm guitars are doing this. And the solo guitar is doing this little thing. It's 14, 19, 14, like a trill. Hammer, pull off, and then 17 on the B string. Pretty simple. For 1 bar you do that, and then the next bar, instead of doing 19, you do 18. Simple as that. So that's 17. Faster right now. So it follows the direction of these chords. You know, up, down, like that. Although the repeat all twice, and that's nearing the end of the solo there. So after doing that again, you'll have this little slide up here where you go basically a perfect 4th power chords, same notes 22 and 22, up on the E and B string. This harsh sound. You do it a couple times and start sliding it down like this. Kind of like that. And usually my this finger goes, after doing the 22, the first finger goes to the 21st fret, so they're off-centered. They're not on the same fret anymore, 22 and 21 now. And that's usually how I slide down. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, just that harsh sound where it slides down. And then the final little run to end the solo is going to be a legato, where you hit the E string to get it going, and then you hammer with both fingers, your ring, first finger, or pinky first, doesn't matter. You go 0, 12, 15, 0, 15, 18, 0, 17, 20, 0, 19, and 22, and then just a 24 that holds the whole bar with vibrato. So this is slow. And here's how it's going to sound full speed. Might have hit the wrong notes, but you get the gist. And they're technically triplets. If you want the actual notes, again, rewind the video or go to the tab. And that transitions right back into the main verse. Not the verse, sorry. The third verse is what it would be, but it's the main riff. You know, the repeats that 4 times, but this time it transitions into a new ending where it goes. Instead of going a third time, it'll do this. So it goes from perfect fifth power chord to perfect fourth, where you go 3 and 5 to just 5 and 5, 6 and 6, back to the 3 5, then 2 4. So, and then it starts with a palm mute chug, obviously. I don't know if I'm perfectly in tune, but that's not the point. And here's how it transitions from the main riff. See how it transitions? And full speed, it's like this. And then after that, it just does gallops. 7 gallops because it's 4 4 and 3 4 like this. Just like that. It's a 2 and 4 chord, palm muted. And then I'll repeat the riff again. So now that you're used to the riff again, that's when the vocals come in and the riff slightly changes, but it's basically the same thing. I'll do the whole riff. But instead of going 7 times to just 4, make it a little faster for the vocals. And I'll do that about 4 times, that version of the riff. And then finally in the last vocal, it'll do the 7 again, instead of going back to the... And then it'll end on a gallop of 0, which transitions perfectly back into the end of the verse, which was this thing. And if you don't want to do 7 3 2, 8 3 2, you can go up to the A string and go 2 3 2 3 3 2, like that. It's up to you. I mean, I prefer having the tone of this. It also feels more fun to jump around the fretboard. So here's how it transitions again. And instead of going right back into the pre-chorus, it'll finally join up with the bass and drums. If you hear the tab, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Where they're doing like a more chuggy thing instead of gallops. The guitar will finally join them on these next repeats. Instead of just going back there, it does this. It's going to be just 0 and 0 on the E and A string, heavily chugged. And then perfect 4th power chord, 7 and 7, 3 and 3, 2 2, just like that. And then instead of galloping, you're going, you know, that 0 0 chord. And I'll do that twice. And here's how it works, fast speed. And then, now it's transitioning back. Basically get you hyped up for the final pre-chorus and chorus. And this pre-chorus is double pedal on the drums this time, but the guitar is exactly the same. So same chorus again, all that, you know, and then transition, all that, same repeats. But instead of ending on the headbang riff, the 3/5, it'll end on the same rhythm but a different riff. It's the solo one, this one. Even the vocals will say something at the end, I don't know. So does that twice. And then just so you know, like each measure, it's 4 hits of this, and then 4 hits of this, and then do that twice. And we're finally in the ending now. Similar riff, pretty fast though. Instead of going just 0-3, it's going to be basically 3 tremolo picked into the that's 3 tremolo picked zeros and then 3 like this, like that. Although the final one is 2. Kind of jump out at you like that, so it's 1 2 3 chord, 1 2 3 chord, 1 2 3 chord, 1 2 3 chord, 1 2 chord, and then it holds it. And they're not gallops this time around; they're actually like just tremolo pick 16th notes. So it's here it is full speed. Sorry, that's wrong. Just like that. If you want the exact tempo or speed, watch the tab. And then it'll hold that for about half a bar, and then it'll do 2 zeros and then the 2 power chord, and hold out the same amount of time. So it's sorry. And then the harmony guitars come back one last time. They'll be doing 0 and 4 like this. This is all in the G string. They only come in on the last couple repeats. That's the low harmony, and the other one's like up high. Something like that. Check the harmony 1 guitar and the lead guitar for that. And then they'll finally hold out the last note for like 3 bars, and the drums and bass will start coming in. And then after like 2 bars of holding it, the guitar will join them, doing the 2/4 power chord, just straight down picks. And then a final transition to 0-0 again, and back to this riff. So it does like this. Just like that. And then here's how the harmony transitions into that. So that was the ending. We'll do that twice. And then a tempo slow down to 1:15 to like the final headbang. It goes like this. And then it's just free time, just tremolo pick. The tab's not really accurate because the song's not recorded yet, but and then you just end it whenever, just like that. So that's mainly it. Hope that helps you for whoever's out there. Tabs in the description, has all the notes tabs by me, so it is accurate. Drums, bass, but there's also some vocals. I haven't finished them yet. The extra guitar only has like a couple things on it, so not really important. The rhythm and lead are different, and there's the 2 harmony guitars. Thanks for watching.